When working on a web design project in Figma, it's rare that you would be the only one ever looking at the project. So setting up your file with defined styles is super important, and it will really benefit you the most as the designer in terms of staying organized, designing with more speed and consistency. Doing this in Figma is super easy, so let's do it for our Fernie site that we've designed so far, starting with colors. So the way to add a color to your color library is so simple. Click on the color here, go over to these sort of 4 dots icon. It's called the style icon here, and add this as a new variable. So we're just going to name this off-white. And we don't need to fill out exactly what it's for, but you could if you wanted to, and hit create styles. So now we can see it here under local styles, color styles. So let's add another one. We'll name this one off black, and we'll come in here and just sample this color, create style, and we'll do the same here. We'll name this one burnt orange. Okay, now we can get rid of these, never do any more eye dropping, and just use these color styles here, which is really, really nice. Okay, so now that we have that, let's also do our text styles. So in terms of our header, this will be sort of our H1. So we're gonna do the same thing. Across from text, we'll hit the style icon, hit the plus button, and we'll call this H1. Let's call this H2. At least for now. We can kind of come back later if we ever need to add sort of like something in between. I do that all the time. We'll call this one H3, and we'll call this one body. All right, awesome. So now we can just at least use these as starting points. We'll probably always be using these colors, and we can add to these text styles as we go if we want, though this is honestly a great starting point. I can only see us needing to add maybe 1 or 2 more styles, maybe a style for buttons, maybe a style for like caption text, or like legal text that's like super, super small. Maybe we'll need another headline font in there, but for now, this is looking really good. Now, sometimes I work with clients who want to have sort of a PDF version of their style guide somewhere. So you can create that really easily in Figma. And you can create sort of different versions of this. So even if they don't want a PDF, it might be a good idea to have a dedicated page where you have all your styles laid out. So let's create a new page. We'll go into layers here and click the plus button. We'll call this style guide. Okay, I'm just gonna hit F for frame, and we'll choose kind of like a presentation slide size here, and we'll just call this style guide. Now, this style guide is gonna be ultra simple, but you will probably have style guides, you know, as you keep designing websites that are a lot more complex. But for this, we're just going to kind of do exactly what you would assume. We're going to outline all these styles. So we're going to we'll call this heading 1 so that we have like a little bit more text to work with here. And we're going to make that text in this style. And we're just going to do the same thing for the rest of our headings and our body. And we'll just, name these appropriately. So we'll name this one heading 2, 3, body text. And then what you can do is actually write out, if this is going to be a PDF, then they're not going to have access to the Figma and like not be able to kind of click into this and see what's what. Developers, which I'll show you dev mode later here in Figma, but developers and people who are going to be inside your Figma file, even just in a view only capacity, can easily look and see what these styles are. But a lot of my clients are a little bit old school and want to see a PDF version. So The reason that I'm doing it this way is so that they can actually see what each style is. So I'm going to take this body text and copy it, and I'm just going to write out exactly what these styles are. So this is Poppins, semi-bold, 72 pixels. And you can write out the line height and all of that, and you can do that. You can design it really nicely and all of that stuff. And then you would just do the same exact thing for your colors. So let's just say we're gonna have the colors on the bottom. We'll divide this by 3, so we have 3 even rectangles. We're gonna do our off-white, our off-black, and our burnt orange. And I'm just going to label these. So we're calling this burnt orange. And we're gonna just write out exactly what the hex value is. So in this case, it is BB4E2C. And you can see that just by kind of going in here and clicking on this, and you can just sort of copy and paste that. And you would do that for the rest of this here. And you would just sort of keep adding to this with any styles that you might need. If you have like button styles, which we'll eventually have, and if you want to sort of outline like, oh, the corner radius should look like this on all of these elements, you can sort of like start diagramming out these different rules and have sort of a style guide for that. There's so many ways to do it. I'm just sort of explaining a few simple ones, but just wanted to show you that as part of this lesson in case a client ever asks you for like a PDF style guide. This is how I'll normally do it. And the other thing that you could do if they don't care about it being a PDF is you can come up here. If you just hit Control and click here, you can copy a link to just that page. And so that is also a good way to share this out digitally and take someone directly to the page that you want to take them to. Okay, going back to our UI, now that our styles are all defined, we've got a really good starting point for the rest of the Fernie site. The next important piece is creating all of the reusable components that are going to make up the bulk of the rest of our site. So let's tackle those in the coming lessons.